Hi, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield, and I am here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. It's good to be with you today. We are going to be in the book of Genesis, chapter 14, so I'd invite you to join me there if you would like. And as we jump into Genesis 14, I want to ask you this question. If you have been a Christian for a while, or even just you've read the Bible a bit, or you just kind of know some of the stories of the Bible, you're probably familiar with this guy named Abraham. But when we see him in Genesis chapter 14, he's called Abram. And you might know a thing or two about him. And that's what I want to start with. When you think of Abraham or you think of Abram, what comes to mind for you? Does Sarah, his wife, come to mind? Perhaps Isaac, his son? Does it come to mind that he is going to be the father, our spiritual father, the one that God blessed and said, hey, you are going to have descendants that are as numerous as the stars in the sky, even though your wife is barren. This is going to be true of you. What do you think of when you think of Abraham? My guess is, and I know this is true for me, you probably don't think about a mighty warrior. You probably don't think about someone who, if you found yourself in the hands of bad men, that you better hope Abraham's on your side, because he's going to rally the troops and he's going to come and help you out. I often forget this scene in Genesis chapter 14, where Abram has this nephew Lot, and Lot is living in a place called Sodom. And he finds himself in some trouble because there's war going on, and Sodom and Gomorrah, they are ransacked, and everything is taken out of Sodom and Gomorrah, including Lot. He's been captured. And we get to Genesis chapter 14. We get to verse 11, and here's what it says. It says, the four kings, these enemy kings, the four kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food, and then they went away. Verse 12, they also carried off Abraham's nephew Lot and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. So Lot's been carried off by the enemy. And I always forget what follows and what it reveals about Abram, and later Abraham, that he was this warrior and this rallier of men who led them to go and save Lot. Check out what it says. It says, verse 13, one who had escaped from Sodom came and reported this to Abram the Hebrew. Now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre, the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol and Aner, all of whom were allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he called out the 318 trained men born in his household, and he went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abram divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the women and the other people. I think it's safe to say that as it pertains to Lot and Lot's relatives and his possessions, it's safe to say for Lot that Abram had his back. Have you ever had someone like that in your life? Maybe it was in your younger years when you're in high school and you're just starting high school and you're a wee little freshman, and you had an upperclassman that said, hey, if you ever need anything, I've got your back. Or if anybody ever bothers you, I've got your back. Or maybe you had an older sibling who just wouldn't put up with anybody messing with you, and you knew that if anybody did, that sibling had your back and would take care of you, whatever that meant, all right? And we see this with Abram, that he had Lot's back. That as soon as he heard that Lot was in trouble, he rallied the troops and said, let's go, boys. We're going to go rescue my nephew. Now, we're not just going to rescue my nephew. We're going to recover all the goods and all the possessions. We're going to get all the women and all the other people. We're bringing them back home. Abram he had Lot's back. He was a mighty warrior. Kind of gets you fired up. But I want us to see something even more important, okay? Verse 17, after Abram returned from defeating Kedorlaomer, that's the best I can do, and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Sheva. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. And he blessed Abram, saying, now listen to this, okay? This is verse 19. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. See where I'm going with this? Yes, Abram had Lot's back. But there's a bigger picture here. God had Abram's back. God had Lot's back. The enemies of Lot, the enemies of Abram, were delivered into Abram's hands. By who? God. And friends, as you go about your day today, can you remember that your God is for you? That your God is behind you? That he has your back? That no matter what situation you go into, he's with you. And he's not going to forsake you. He's not going to leave you. He has your back. Have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.